We are pretty deep into the release of CS2 at this point. 6 months ago, the beta began. 1 month ago, the beta was rolled out to the majority of the community. This is the moment we have all been waiting for. After an entire decade, we have finally seen a drastic change to the best game ever made. But as with each new Counter-Strike, there are always those who reject the transition. 1.6 players, touting that their game actually required skill, did not switch to Source. Both Source and 1.6 players rejected CSGO when it was in a broken state. And now, the same thing is happening with CS2. Now, Valve did not provide us with nearly any information leading up to CS2, but we sure had expectations. Maybe an operation, now that every change they make to the game doesn't break it. Could even go back to a more intricate story-based set of missions because of this. It would be awesome. Maybe new types of skins and stickers. Can't wait to see what the new CS2 release case looks like. One of the worst parts about Counter-Strike for new players is that they never know if they're playing against cheaters or not. Surely CS2 will come with a brand new VACnet that eliminates all easy to find cheats. And the list goes on and on. We had expectations, whether they were fair or not. And right now, it just feels like the community has been let down upon the early stages of the game. All of these assumptions created by us have generated quite an impact on the market. Liquids that typically see a slow and steady rise were up 300%. New tournament stickers like Stockholm, Antwerp, and Paris all saw massive gains. Paris was the most insane, as stickers were still rising in price despite having infinite supply, as they were still available within the in-game store. And if Shattered Web cases are starting to break out, you know the market has gone insane. But I would like to avoid the word bubble. Typically when items pump like this, we can call it a bubble, and sell off items before they inevitably crash. Trade holds end. People sell for profit. Whoever collaborated in manipulating prices has stopped purchasing. Whatever it may be, when you see a Sapphire double in price, that is typically your cue to sell. But this was all a reaction to CS2, the future of Counter-Strike with potentially unlimited options, as we had no info at the time. If CS2 dropped with a good anti-cheat, an operation, some new game modes, and less dying around walls, then I think the prices would have remained stable or even risen further. But we know that isn't the case today. Throughout the course of October, the player base for Counter-Strike has dropped significantly, and I don't find that surprising at all. Initially, the focus was based around the gameplay. What you see is what you get. Subtick is going to fix the split between 64-tick matchmaking and 128-tick FACEIT. Well, the game felt terrible upon release. Some of it due to Subtick, some of it to do with optimization, and some of these things are just technical tweaks that need to be made. Luckily, there was enough novelty in the new game that people weren't overly bothered, but as time goes on, it gets more and more frustrating that CS2 feels worse than CSGO. Subtick, the new graphics, smoke opportunities, etc. The game could be amazing, but as of right now, the game is frustrating. None of it matters anyways, because there are more cheaters in Premier than your average matchmaking experience on CSGO. They took care of spinbotting. LiveVac has done its job there, but FOV-based aimbots and other information-based cheats are never getting LiveVac'd. I personally wanted to grind out Premier so I could get top 1000 NA, and 3 times in a row I faced cheaters on my promotion match. Twice I'm quite confident it was Anuria, as their cheat has been recently developed and it was clearly aimbot in walls. But there was another game where someone could kill us from spawn on Ancient. There's a lot of walls on Ancient. I shouldn't be getting dinked with a Glock before I enter house. And it's not like you can chill out on a surf map, or a KZ map, or a 1v1 server, or jailbreak, or zombies. The built-in community server browser is a nightmare to navigate, and the servers just don't have the support that they need. If you don't want to play the Valve game modes, you don't play the game. And it looks like there's a lot of people just not playing the game. So is all hope lost? CS2 is a failure, pack it up boys, we're going to Valorant? Come on now, let's take a step back. Every iteration of Counter-Strike was pretty broken on release. Compared to the rest, CS2 is already a pretty polished game. Compared to other AAA titles, CS2 is already a polished game. Valve are still pumping out multiple updates a week, and although they're only bug and performance fixes, which most of us have probably never experienced before, they are working on it, and harder than I've ever seen Valve work on CS before. In the recent Valve interview, there's a ton of good information, but this is what I consider the important pieces. Valve plan on introducing previous game modes, but gameplay comes first. Valve wanted more information, so they released CS2 as an unfinished product. They knew the release would be rocky. They are not surprised that people are complaining that it feels unfinished. They know it does. The representative that answered these questions also stated that they don't really care about the markets right now. The market could crash, just like we're seeing right now, and that means nothing to them. They will still follow their game plan. They will not be forcing out content that promotes spending. Now, as a fan, I do still think they dropped the ball on not pushing out new content and community features sooner, but that is their choice, and the time will come eventually. As it stands, CS2 should be in the worst state that it will ever be in. If that's the case, then these skin prices are nothing to freak out about. After the recent dump, prices have fallen further than the player base has, but when you consider just how significant profits have been over the last year, I think it'd be quite easy to argue that the previous prices were inflated. People that have been around for a while know that all this chaos is temporary. Valve may take forever to get things right, but they will get it right. So where does that put us today? The market is down, but not down bad overall. It just looks bad on a 6-month graph, which is what Buff provides. While you could look at these price drops as opportunities to buy in for cheap, there is no guarantee that they won't go down further, except for cases, of course. I don't want to sound like a broken record here, but cases are just the most fundamentally sound item that you can purchase. Game is in a rough shape? People will open cases. New borderless sticker kills Paris, Antwerp, and Stockholm profits? People will open cases. New operation or massive updates to the game that increases the player base? People open a lot of cases. Over 40 million cases opened this month when everyone is panicking about the market crashing. I sleep. Skins in general are pretty safe. There have been a few graphical updates to skins which are pretty scary if you put a lot of money into one specific item, and that's how the early stages of CS2 will go. A few operation skins, maybe something nice as a play skin, is a pretty low risk option currently. Just like cases, people will always do trade ups. Stickers are still up in the air. RMR just got nuked again, so all hopes and dreams of finally being profitable have just been thrown out the window. And who knows if others will be next, like the DreamHack 2014 and Katowice 2014 nerfs. I would feel much more confident buying capsules instead of individual stickers at this point in time. I would not say that this is the time you need to sell your house to buy CS items, but it may be a time where that $50 massage gun could wait another month. Overall, I feel like if you missed out on the opportunity to purchase before the CS2 announcement when prices started going insane, this is a mini-second opportunity. We don't know what Valve have in store exactly, but this is not the end of the road. The game will keep improving, and the features we once had will slowly be brought back. Some simple changes, like continuing the work on syncing the sub-tick and 64-tick aspects of the game, alongside the time necessary to bring the old CSGO community servers back. And instantly, the narrative around the game is much better. It took 3 years before CSGO entered a recognizable state. CS2 is already most of the way there. Valve have clearly expressed interest in supporting the game for another decade. If you want to buy in, do it before CS2 becomes the new best game ever made.